What do you say to those who said, look, should we even be talking about this challenge of PVC distribution now and then declaring holidays to ensure people go if you had all the time to do that?
It ought not to be so because we had 4 years to prepare for this. It ought not to be so. It's unfortunate this is where we find ourselves. But however, we must just live with the situation we have found ourselves in. We ought not to be where we are. I mean, these PVCs, ideally, we don't even need to be doing registration. There should really be a registration period. These are things that should be automatically updated. You attain 18, walk in there and get your registration card. That is the ideal situation.
What is your fear? If these elections are shifted,
yes,
what is the fear of the All Progressives Congress?
We have no fear, Bagwe. If the elections are held today, we are good to go. If there are compelling reasons, other than partisan reasons, to shift, I'm sure my party will not say no. In 2011, even at the point of voting, an election was shifted.
Your party, your party hasn't said that. Yes. What your party seems to be saying, I think I have heard your party say very clearly, is under no circumstance. It's not even giving room for a very genuine excuse, even the provisions made by the Constitution. It doesn't even seem to be given room for that.
Yes.
What he's saying is under no circumstance. Why is it taking such a hard-line position?
It must take such hard-line positions. But let us not lose sight from the quarters from which this cause started. We mustn't lose sight of that. It's not about the public calling for postponement. It started from within one of the political parties. They started the battle cry, we want postponement.
Yeah, but
sorry. They were the ones who started making excuses. They didn't wait for INEC to make the excuses. They started making excuses on behalf of INEC. I heard somebody here this morning say even the president is magnanimous. Not to. It's, I mean, what do we make of
but
that?
The parties,
so what we're saying here is...
The party has said several times they are not asking for a shift.
INEC had said for A, B, and C reason, INEC is saying we are ready. INEC says I can cope. And some other persons are saying, no, you cannot cope. No, you should postpone. No, you should shift. I mean,
it is not. So why would? I think it's very important to put it in context. If somebody says, "We think that INEC should shift,"
we think that INEC should.
It remains a suggestion.
Yes.
But when you now say that under no circumstance should INEC shift this post, that is it's a rather threatening stance.
It's not. No, it's not a threatening stance. It's a strong stance. It is strong. We have not threatened, like some people said, we have not threatened war. Some people yesterday only said the whole of the South, they will make sure the whole of the South does not vote. Some people had said the country will be shut down if somebody loses the election. APC has not said any such thing. That will make a very strong, to take a very strong affirmative position should not be construed as as a threat. That wasn't a threat.
But the thing is, why would the party take that hardline stance saying under no circumstances when the Electoral Act allows for circumstances under which it can be
exactly postponed. The point. Look, what the Electoral Act says, it even gives a 60 days window. But the party must react to where these drum beats are coming from. If it is coming from INEC, if it is coming from the public, but not when we know that it is the presidency and the PDP trying to exert pressure on INEC, and you expect us to say, oh, if they are we should agree? No, that's not
I go back to what Chimele said. I think it's totally, not a fair comment. If the PDP has come up to say they haven't called for a postponement, then it's not a fair comment on the PDP to say they're the one asking for a postponement of this or shift of this particular one.
Suleiman, I am saying this affirmatively. It's one thing for you to say we are not calling for postponement. We know what the hand of the voice of Esau and the hand of Jacob.
No, but what they've told us
look,
on TV,
only yesterday,
on camera.
only yesterday, the National Council of State, the highest advisory body in this country, advised that elections be allowed to go on. Of course, you saw what happened next. Chief Edwin Clark, Ezeife, Walter Fonagoro. They got themselves together under a pseudonym of a Southern Assembly, I don't know who they represent, to now threaten. They issued a threat immediately. These are supposedly elder statesmen. And those who sat yesterday are what I would call perhaps the eldest statesmen we have in this country. Past presidents, past chief justices of Nigeria, the current president. And a group of supporters now immediately came out.
And as the saying,
and started threatening. So would you now expect an APC to sit back to say, okay, if you think there is need, if they now, would you expect APC to not sit back and not come up with an affirmative position?
As a say in Africa, don't you think that what the elders have seen, well, younger persons haven't been able to picture it? What
the elders that threatened yesterday?
That spoke yesterday.
Which one of them is older than Shagari? Which one of them? Which one of them has held the position Shagari has held in this country? Which one of them?
Speaking about
please,
security,
tell me which a single one of them. From Edwin Clark to Ezeife to Walter Fonagoro, he served on, well, Fonagoro served under Shagari. Which one of them? So are you now saying that the likes of former CGN Mohammed Uwais don't know what they're talking about? These are their aide mates. They sat down, they had presentation by the security chiefs and by INEC, and they were convinced that the elections, and another group of people who call themselves, well, the elders, let me not disparage them, come out almost immediately, threatening fire and brimstone.
Isn't
and
this
you say those are words of wisdom for me?
Isn't this all politics? Because if the Council of State had advised otherwise,
yes,
I suspect you would have said, well, no, it's just an advice.
Look, Chamberlain, that is in the realm of speculation now. We are dealing with real-life situations.
Don't forget that before meeting,
yes,
there were several comments. SAN has said whatever they say is an advice.
Yes.
You know, so to that extent, because who knows, politicians might have played on it the wrong way.
Chamberlain, I started from the position that there's only one body that is constitutionally empowered to speak on elections. What happened yesterday was advisory. It was not a threat. We must distinguish between an advisory body of past leaders of this country, past chief justices of this country, the current leaders of the country, as against a crop of partisan persons issuing threats.
Let me bring in the security
aspect. Please, mark my words. They issue threats. Threats.
The security aspect of these elections, because if the chairman of INEC says, well, they will consider that security report. You've spoken about the position of the NSA, which you think should not be, and as such is lost, I mean, your confidence. But the thing about that is this. What if that security report which he gave to INEC is actually authentic, and security agencies say, look, we have concerns about what's going on? Which ad hoc staff will readily go there and conduct those elections? Have we addressed that issue?
Chamberlain, the same security service chiefs, IG, and I believe perhaps the NSA, all were part of that meeting yesterday. And I am sure that advisory body considered the totality of the reports, including perhaps the NSA's reports. And they came out and they were convinced.
No, they wasn't unanimous. That's what I started out by saying.
No, it couldn't
I
have
remember, I also said that they said, told INEC, look, go do your consultation. You're the body saddled with the responsibility to conduct these elections.
And if you are convinced.
And you now say, no, well, you think it has already been done.
No, he says, look, Chamberlain, the advisory body was called. Part of the agenda was the forthcoming elections. And that is the only reason INEC was invited to that meeting. It wasn't at the previous meeting, or the one before, or indeed the one before, before, and before. It was invited to that meeting for the sole purpose. Then, the security chiefs were also invited. I mean, the security chiefs as they were, both the military and the police. I assume perhaps the State Security Service and maybe this NSA was also there. No, they all now briefed this body, this advisory body. And after the briefing, the advisory body was convinced that INEC should be allowed to do its work. So let INEC consult. Until INEC says, from my consultation, it will appear that these elections cannot go on. Until that is said, let these elections go on. Okay, let nobody come and try to bulldoze a whole nation into an election postponement because there is a fear of somebody losing an election. Let the people speak. Let them speak. We are ready for the elections. We are ready. And if we don't win the election, so be it. Follow due process.
All right,
let the elections go on. And whatever disadvantage we are talking about, is it a disadvantage to PDP alone? Will it be a disadvantage to APC? Will it be to the other parties?
We'll have to go.
So is PDP the one that is afraid of calling for the postponement?
Honorable Babatunde Ogala is a legal practitioner. He's also a member of the Presidential Campaign Council of the APC. Thank you for coming on today.
My pleasure, sir.
We've got another perspective on elections also in just a moment. Don't go away.